a guardian story of the lush green vegetable garden. Beside the ridge of the vegetable garden stands a cluster of lush green scallions. The straightest one is called the onion. Kong Kong's body is like a small green pillar wrapped in a thin layer of white frost. The leaves on its head are like burst green fireworks, smooth to the touch, and carry a spicy yet fresh fragrance. Sister Tai Bai always says, Kong Kang is the little guardian of the vegetable garden. It looks energetic and has a heart warmer than the sun. That early morning, the little aphids secretly climbed up the cucumber vine, wanting to gnaw on the tender leaves. Kong Kong quickly released a strong, pungent smell. When the aphids smelled it, they immediately covered their faces and fled. The cucumber vine swayed its leaves and said, "Thank you, Kong Kang. Your fragrance is more effective than insecticide. It helped me drive away the bad guys." In the morning, the sun made the vegetable garden warm. Little Aunt Guogu led the team to carry breadcrumbs and was so tired that she lay on the clods of soil, gasping for breath. Kong Kong quickly drooped the leaves down to form a small green canopy. "Little ants, come and rest your feet." The ants were hiding under the pergola. The cool breeze carried the fragrance of scallions. Guogu waved its antennae and said, "Brother Kongking, your leaves are even more comfortable than the shade of a big tree. The scent is so refreshing." At noon, the little ladybug Dion accidentally fell into a shallow puddle and flapped around but couldn't get out. Kong Kong quickly bent down and let the long scallion leaves hang into the puddle. Like a little green rope stretching out, "Dion, grab my leaves." Dion slowly climbed up along the scallion leaf, flapping her wings and saying, "Thank you, scallion. Your leaves are stronger than a small ladder." How reliable! In the afternoon, the little boy Lele from the neighbor's house came to help in the vegetable garden. Accidentally, he was bitten by a small bug and his arm became red and itchy. Mum picked a scallion leaf, squeezed out the juice, and applied it to Lele's arm. The juice of scallions can relieve itching. Lele felt a chill in her arm, and the itch soon disappeared. She touched the leaves of Kong Kong and said, "Kong Kong, you are really a useful companion. Although the smell is pungent, it's very strong." In the evening, dark clouds drifted from the sky, and it seemed that it was about to rain. Kong Kang recalled the tomato seedlings he had just planted, whose stems were still very weak. The scallions swayed their bodies together, interweaving the thick leaves as if holding up a big green umbrella. When the raindrops pattered down, the little tomato seedlings were firmly hidden beneath, swaying their tender leaves and saying, "Thank you, Kong Kang. Your leaves are more effective than a small tent." I wasn't hurt at all. The setting sun bathed the vegetable garden in a warm green. The friends gathered around Kong Kong and held a small sharing session. The cucumber vine brought fresh cucumbers. The little ant brought breadcrumbs, and Layli brought sweet water. Kong Kong stood on the ridge of the field, its emerald green body shining in the setting sun. It said, "Although I smell pungent, I'm the happiest when I can help everyone." Sister Tizai Bai smiled and said, "Although the taste of scallions is spicy, the heart that is willing to help others is the warmest." When the moon rose, Kong Kong was still standing in the vegetable garden, like a row of little green sprees. Because of the scallions, this small vegetable garden has become safer and more lively. Such days are more precious than sweet fruits and more reassuring than emerald green leaves. The red carrots are a sweet and fun memory of the vegetable garden in the soil of the vegetable garden. There is a round and plump red radish buried. Its name is Hong Hong. Hong Hong's body is wrapped in a bright red dress. The green tassels on her head are like small green umbrellas that have burst open. The roots buried in the soil are fine and dense, absorbing plenty of sunlight and rain. She has grown plump and crisp. Sister Cabbage always says, "Hong Hong is the little sweetheart in the vegetable garden. She looks bright red and has a heart sweeter than honey." That early morning, the little earthworm ball was loosening the soil in the soil when it accidentally got stuck beside a hard stone and could unmove. Hong Hong quickly shook her body and gently pushed the small stone away with her thin roots, saying softly, "Kayuki, don't worry, I'll clear the way for you." Kayuki emerged through the gap, twisting her body and saying, "Thank you, Hong Hong. Your roots are more dexterous than a small shovel. They saved me." In the morning, the sun made the vegetable garden warm. Little Aunt Guago led the team to carry sugar grains and was so tired that she lay on the soil slope, gasping for breath. Hong Hong quickly spread the green tassels even wider, creating a patch of shade. "Little ants, come and rest your feet." The ants were hiding under the green taskets. The cool breeze carried the fragrance of the earth. Guogu waved its antennae and said, "Sister Hong Hong, your green taskets are even more comfortable than the shade of a big tree. You can even smell the fresh scent of the earth." At noon, the little ladybug's wings were smeared with mud and water, and it couldn't fly. It was so anxious that it lay on the vegetable leaf and cried, "Hong Hong, let the dewdrops from the leaf tips drip down and land in front of Diandian. Diandian, wipe your wings with the dew." Diandian licked the dew, carefully wiped her wings clean, and flapped her wings to fly twice. "Thank you, Hong Hong. Your dew is more effective than clear water. I can fly again." In the afternoon, the little girl Duadwo from the neighbor's house came to the vegetable garden to help out, wanting to find the biggest radish to make a salad. She squatted in the ground and fiddled with it. At a glance, she saw the bright red Duadwa gently grabbed the green yingzi and, with a heyo, pulled out Hong, holding the chubby Hong Hong. She smiled and said, "Wow, this radish is so beautiful. It looks like a little red chubby guy." In the evening, dark clouds drifted from the sky, and it seemed that it was about to rain. Hong Hong thought of the newly sprouted spinach seedlings, whose leaves were still very tender. Hong Hong quickly asked her master to place her beside the spinach seedlings, using her chubby body to shield herself from the wind and rain. The green leaves could also catch the rainwater, which slowly seeped into the soil. When the raindrops pattered down, the spinach seedlings stood steadily beneath, swaying their tender leaves and saying, "Thank you, Hong Hong. Your body is more effective than a small umbrella." I wasn't hurt at all. The setting sun dyed the vegetable garden a warm red boob. The friends gathered around Hong Hong and held a small sharing session. Earthworms brought soft soil, ants brought sugar grains, and Duarduo brought sweet salad dressing. Hong Hong lay in the vegetable basket, her red dress shining in the setting sun. She said, "I'm the happiest to be able to help everyone." Sister by Sai smiled and said, "The red dress looks nice, but a heart that is willing to help others is even more precious." When the moon rose, Hong Hong was washed clean and cut into sweet radish chunks. Because of the red radish red, this small vegetable garden has become more lively and warmer. Such days are more pleasant than sweet radish juice and more dazzling than bright red clothes. A warm reminder of the twinkling orange stars in the night sky, in the deep blue night sky. There hangs a sweet orange star, which is called Sparkle. Shanshan's body is like a little orange wrapped in honey, giving off a warm glow. Its corners are round and won't hurt its friends. It can also gently sway its body to brighten up the light. Grandma Moon always says Shanshan is the little sun in the night sky. It has a warm color and a softer heart. Wherever it goes, it brings light. That evening, the little fireflies Ying Ying got lost and were wandering around in the clouds. Shanshan quickly brightened the light, like hanging up a small orange lantern. Ying Ying, follow my light. The fireflies followed the light and quickly found their way home, flying around Shanshan. "Thank you, Shanshan. Your light is brighter than street lamps. We'll never get lost again." At night, the little bat Hai Hai was hunting in the night sky. Suddenly, a gentle wind blew and it almost hit the clouds. Shanshan quickly swayed her body, spreading the light across the night sky to illuminate the path ahead. "Hai Hai, be careful ahead." Hai Hai flew smoothly along the bright light and said with a smile, "Thank you, Shanshan. Your light is more effective than a searchlight. It's so reassuring to fly." At midnight, the little hedgehog Cookie on the ground wanted to look for wild fruits under the cover of night, but the forest was pitch black and she dared not move. Shanshan gently sprinkled the light down like an orange band of light, spreading it in front of Kiyuki. "Cookie, follow the light. There are so many wild fruits." Cookie followed the light band and found the sweet wild fruit. Arching her body, she said, "Thank you, Shanshan. Your light is warmer than a lantern, and wild fruits are so sweet." In the early hours of the morning, Duaduo, the little girl next door, had a fever and couldn't sleep. She lay by the window, looking at the stars. Shanshan saw it and cast a gentle light into Duoduo's room as if it were covered with a warm little quilt. Duoduo looked at the orange starlight and gradually felt less uncomfortable. She said softly, "Shanshan, you are so nice. Your light is warmer than a small blanket. It seems that I don't feel any pain anymore." Just before dawn, the concert of Little Cricket Lele was about to start, but the lights beside the stage were not bright enough. Shanshan quickly gathered a few little stars around her, and together they focused their light on the stage. The orange light made the stage shine brightly. Lele sang a beautiful song and shouted to the night sky, "Thank you, Shanshan. Your light is more beautiful than the stage lights." The concert was such a success. Dawn was approaching, and the stars were getting ready to rest. The little friends all waved at Shanshan. Fireflies brought shiny light powder. Bats shared little tips for flying, and each one placed a small flower by the window. Her orange body was shining, and her heart was warm. I am the happiest when I can help everyone. Grandma Moon smiled and said, "The shining orange light is warm, and a heart that is willing to help others is even more precious." As the sun slowly rose, Xingshan hid behind the clouds to rest, leaving the warmth of orange in the world. Because of the twinkling orange stars, this night sky has become gentler and brighter. Such a night is more pleasant than sweet honey and makes people feel happier than the warm glow. The green cat's funny adventures in the green forest. At the edge of the moss-covered forest lived a special green cat named LV. The green fur is like the tender grass in spring, shining green with faint patterns. The round blue eyes are like two sapphires. The claws are soft. When running, it's like a gentle green breeze. The mother squirrel always says, "Green is the little smart one in the forest." It has a novel appearance and a heart softer than cotton. That early morning, little squirrel Dowtow's pinnacone fell into the thorn bush, and she didn't dare to reach out to pick it up. When LV saw this, she gently crawled into the thorn bush, carefully pushed aside the sharp thorns with her nimble claws, and picked out the pinnacone. "Tao, here you are." Tao held a pinnacone and said, "Thank you, Green. Your claws are more dexterous than small tweezers and are not afraid of being pricked at all." In the morning, the sun made the forest warm. Little hedgehog Kuki couldn't find a shady spot and was panting on a stone. LV hurriedly ran to the big tree, spread out her green body as if holding up a small green umbrella. "Kuki, come and hide from the sun." Kuki plunged into the shadow. The cool breeze carried the fragrance of grass and trees. She immediately perked up. "Brother LV, your body is more comfortable than the shade of leaves, and your color is as beautiful as that of the grass." At noon, little Aunt Guogo led her team to carry sugar grains, but was blocked by a small stream. LV found a large lotus leaf and placed it over the stream to form a lotus leaf bridge. She also lay on the bank to guard it. Go, come across the bridge. I'll keep an eye on it for you." The little ants walked steadily past. Guagua waved her antennae and said, "Thank you, LV. With your protection, I feel so at ease." In the afternoon, the little girl Duoduo from the neighbor's house came to the forest for sketching, wanting to draw a unique little animal. She immediately spotted the greenish green and clapped her hands happily. "Wow, this little cat is green. How amazing." LV lay meek beside Duadu, allowing her to gently stroke her, and from time to time rub against her palm, becoming the most distinctive model in Duadwa's painting. In the evening, dark clouds drifted from the sky, and it seemed that it was about to rain. LV thought of the little cricket Lala living in the tree hole, whose hole was leaking rain. LV quickly fetched a few dry leaves and dry grass to help Lely repair the tree hole, and also found a piece of moss to spread at the opening to keep the rain off. When the raindrops tick-tock fell, Lele's bed was extremely dry. She sang a song and said, "Thank you, Green. Your craftsmanship is even more skillful than that of a little tailor. I didn't get wet at all." The setting sun dyed the forest a warm green. The friends gathered around Love and held a small sharing session. Tauto brought pine cones, Kuki brought wild fruits, and Duodwo brought sweet dried fish. Green licked the dried fish, its tail gently swaying, and its blue eyes shining. It said, "I'm the happiest when I can help everyone." The mother squirrel smiled and said, "The green fur is novel, but the helpful heart is even more precious." When the moon rose, LV lay on the branch, her green fur blending with the leaves, like a breathing green leaf. Because of the green cat LV, this small forest has become more wonderful and warmer. Such days are more delicious than sweet dried fish, and more endearing than green and shiny fur. A cute little house and a warm forest guardian story. Beside the lush green forest stands a cute little round house. It is called Nuan. The walls of Nuan are pinkish, and the roof is covered with golden thatch, as if wearing a small hat. The windows are round glass, shining brightly. There is also a string of colorful wind chimes hanging in front of the door. When the wind blows, they sing ding-dong. Grandma Squirrel always says Nuan is a little harbor in the forest. Its appearance is charming, but its heart is even warmer. One early morning, little hedgehog Kuki was on her way with wild fruits on her back when suddenly a light drizzle began to fall. Kuki was so anxious that she shrank into a little thorny ball. Nuan quickly pushed open the small wooden door with a creak and shouted softly, "Kuki, come inside to take shelter from the rain." Kuki ran into the room, shook off the rainwater on her body, and held a wild fruit in her hands, saying, "Thank you, Nuan. Your house is stronger than a leaf shed. It's so reassuring to hide here." In the morning, the sun made the forest warm. The little ants, carrying breadcrumbs, were so tired that they lay on the stones, gasping for breath. Nuan quickly pushed open the window to let the cool breeze in and placed a large lotus leaf at the door, saying, "Little ants, come to the door to cool off." The ants lined up and climbed onto the lotus leaves. The cool breeze made the wind chimes ring. Guagu waved her antennae and said, "Sister Nuan, your door is even more comfortable than the shade of a big tree." There's also the singing of bells in the wind. At noon, the wings of the little butterfly Colorful were cut by thorns, and it landed in pain in front of Nuan's door. Morning dew dripped from the thatch on the warm roof and landed right beside Sai. Sai licked the dew and then hid in the shadow behind the door to rest. After a while, Sai flapped her wings and was able to fly. She circled Nuan twice and said, "Thank you, Nuan. Your dew is sweeter than honey, and your house can shield me from the sun." In the afternoon, the little girl Duardwo from the neighbor's house came to explore the forest. When she got tired from walking, she immediately saw the lovely Nuan. She sat on the small steps in front of the warm door, resting against the pink wall and gently plucking the small wind chime. Nuan quietly stayed by her side. The wind chimes jingled as if singing a lullaby. Duardwo smiled and said, "Nuan, you are such a gentle companion. You don't want to leave, just sitting there." In the evening, dark clouds drifted over the sky and it seemed that a heavy rain was about to fall. Nuan thought of the little squirrel Tao who lived in a tree hole. Its tree hole was leaking rain. Nuan quickly opened the door and hung a small lantern at the entrance. "Tao, come here to take shelter from the rain." Tao ran into the room with a pine cone in her arms and looked at the heavy rain outside, saying, "Thank you, Nuan. Your house is safer than my tree hole, and it has bright lanterns." It was getting dark. The little cricket Lele came to the forest to sing but couldn't find a suitable stage. Nuan wiped the small steps in front of the door spotlessly clean and made the wind chime ring in rhythm. Lele was standing on the steps, singing a beautiful song. All the friends in the forest gathered around Nuan to listen to the concert. Lele finished singing and said, "Thank you, Nuan. Your steps are even better than a stone stage, and the wind chimes can even accompany me." The setting sun dyed the forest a warm orange. The friends gathered in the cozy room and held a small sharing session. Kuki brought wild fruits, Aunt brought breadcrumbs, Duardwad brought sweet cookies, and Tao shared pinnacone. The room was warm and cozy. The wind chimes were singing gently. Everyone was chatting and laughing, creating a lively atmosphere. Grandma Squirrel smiled and said, "Nuan's appearance is so cute. Her willingness to accept everyone's kindness is even more precious." When the moon rose, Nuan lit up the small lamp by the window like a gentle little star. Because of the cute little house Nuan, this small forest has become more peaceful and lively. Such days are more pleasant than sweet cookies and more blissful than pink walls. The little yellow dog's yellow courtyard fun mnemonic. In the sunny courtyard of a rural house, a chubby little yellow dog was running around. Its name was Huang Wong. The yellow fur is like soft buttered bread, feeling warm to the touch. The big drooping ears always sway along with the running posture. The black and shiny eyes are like two black grapes, and the tail it wags is like a small flag. The owner, Grandma, always says Huang is the joker of the small courtyard. He looks so charming and is more serious than anyone else when helping. The day early morning, the little duck Quack accidentally fell into the courtyard angle of mud. Fluttering couldn't climb up. Hearing the cries for help, Huang Huang rushed over, lay down on the edge of the mud pit, and stretched her soft front paws in Gaga's Catch Me. The little ducks climbed up, one by one along their paws, rubbed their yellow bodies, and said, "Thank you, Huang Huang. Your claws are more useful than a small ladder. You saved us." In the morning, the sun made the small courtyard warm. The little cat Mimi was lying on the stone platform, sticking out its tongue. Wang Huang hurriedly ran to the loofah tat and pushed aside the thick vine leaves with her body, as if propping up a small golden pergola. "Mimi, come and enjoy the cool." Mimi jumped into the pergola, licked her paws, and said, "Thank you, Wang Huang. It's even cooler here than under the shade of a big tree, and there's the fragrance of flowers in the wind." At noon, the little master Duadwar's skipping rope got tangled in a branch, and she could unreach it even by standing on tiptoe. Wang Huang saw this and jumped up suddenly, gently biting the end of the skipping rope with her mouth and slowly pulling it down. The skipping rope dropped to the ground with a plop. Duadwar picked it up, smiled, and patted Wang Wang's head. "Thank you, Wang Wang. Your jumping ability is even better than that of a little rabbit. Get the skipping rope back." In the afternoon, the little boy Lele from the neighbor's house came to the small courtyard to play, hoping to find the lost glass marbles. Huang Huang lowered his head, sniffed carefully through the grass with his nose, and from time to time he would use his paws to push away the fallen leaves. After a while, it barked woof woof at a patch of grass. Lele ran over and saw that the marble was lying under a leaf. "Huang Huang, you are really my little helper. Your nose is so sharp." In the evening, dark clouds drifted from the sky, and it seemed that it was about to rain. Huang Huang remembered the dried chili peppers drying in the yard. He quickly grabbed a corner of the bamboo tray and dragged it under the eaves, crying "woof woof woof" for the owner's grandma to come and help. When the raindrops pattered down, the dried chili peppers had already been packed into the house. The owner grandma smiled and said, "Our Wang Wang is so capable. He's a responsible little guard." The setting sun bathed the small courtyard in a warm golden glow. The friends gathered in the yard and held a small sharing session. Mimi brought dried small fish, the little duck shared corn kernels, and Duardo and Lely brought sweet-bone snacks. Wang Wang was munching on snacks, wagging his tail even more merrily, feeling warm in his heart. The owner's grandma said, "The yellow fur is so cute, but her warm-hearted appearance is even more endearing." When the moon rose, Wang Huang lay at the door, listening to the chirping of insects in the small courtyard with a smile on her lips. Because of the little yellow dog Wang Huang, this small courtyard has become more lively and reassuring. Such days are more delicious than sweet snacks and make people feel happier than warm fur. A stream trip with a small paper boat, little boy Amin folded a small paper boat. The boat was light blue, with a small maple leaf pasted on the bow as decoration and a smiling face drawn at the stern. Amin put it into the stream in front of the door and said softly, "Little paper boat, go and see the distance." The little paper boat drifted along the stream. Just as it passed a big rock, it saw the little Aunt Dodo standing on the shore, spinning round anxiously. My breadcrumbs fell into the water. Those were for Mum's dinner. The little paper boat quickly stopped, gently caught the breadcrumbs floating over with its hull, and said to Dodo, "Come up quickly. I'll take you to the other side." Dodo climbed onto the boat, holding onto the breadcrumbs tightly. The small paper boat drifted steadily to the opposite bank. After seeing Dodo off, the little paper boat continued on its way. Suddenly, a gentle breeze blew, sending the dandelion fluff that had fallen on the water surface flying around. Little butterfly Lele's wings were entangled in the fluff, and she couldn't fly. She was so anxious that she flapped her wings straight. The little paper boat swam to Lele's side, let her land on the bow, and then slowly drifted towards the calm water, helping her shake off the fluff on her wings. "Thank you." Before Lele flew away, he kissed the maple leaf on the small paper boat. When the sun was about to set, the small paper boat drifted to a reed marsh. Amin was standing by the shore waiting for it, still holding a newly folded small paper boat in his hand. The small paper boat gently docked. Amin held it in his hands and said with a smile, "It seems that your trip today must be very wonderful." The smiling face of the little paper boat looked even warmer under the setting sun. It turns out that a trip with kindness can bring so much joy. Jouxing's dandelion promise little girl Jouxing has a pair of bright eyes and 2 pigtails. When she runs, the bows on her pigtails sway back and forth, just like 2 little butterflies. On a weekend morning, Mum said, "The dandelions in the yard are in bloom. Go and have a look." Jouxing immediately hopped and skipped out of the door. In the corner of the yard, there were indeed a lot of white dandelions. When the wind blew, the down gently fluttered. Xiaoxing squatted down and carefully picked up a kite. Just as he was about to blow it, he saw Xiao Yu, who was next door, squatting beside him and sighing. His kite string had broken and the kite was hanging on a high branch. "I have a way." Gauxing's eyes lit up. He picked a big bunch of dandelions and pulled Xiao Yu to run to the tree. She stood on tiptoe and held the dandelion high. When the wind blew, the white fluff drifted towards the branches and landed on the kite like little paratroopers. "Look!" Jouxing shouted with a smile, and Xiao Yu clapped his hands along it. The 2 of them stared at the kite, as if making a wish together with the dandelion. Suddenly, a strong wind blew, and the kite swayed slightly, slowly sliding down from the branch. Xiao Yu quickly caught the kite and held Zhao Xing's hand, saying, "Thank you. Let's go and fly dandelion kites together." 2 children were running and running in the yard, holding dandelions. The white fluff was all over the sky, as if a handful of stars had been scattered. Jouxing smiled and said, "It turns out that helping others is even more enjoyable than blowing dandelions." The first dive of the little yellow duck by the pond at the entrance of the village lived a little yellow duck called Rongrong. Its down was as soft as egg yolk cake, and it walked with a wobbly gait. Every morning, she squatted on the big rock by the pond, watching her elder brother and sister plop into the water and shuttle like little speedboats, feeling both envious and nervous. Wrong, come and swim. Brother Gaga flapped his wings, splashing water. Wrong shrank back and said, "I'm afraid I'll hurt myself when I fall." ... Double quotes, Sister Hua touched her feet and said, "The water is warm, like Mum's feathers." The little frog on the lotus leaf hopped quack quack and said, "The first time I jumped on the lotus leaf, I was scared too. Only after I jumped did I realize that the wind would carry me." Ding the dragonfly on the reed also agreed. "Take the first brave step and you'll find yourself super amazing." Wrong looked at the little fish and thought that if she could swim, she could play with it. She took a deep breath, spread her wings and leaned forward, but quickly pulled them back, her heart beating like a drum. "Take your time, I'll catch you." Gaga swam to the stone. Wrong closed her eyes and counted 1, 2, 3, then suddenly jumped. Plop! The water wrapped around her and she flailed about in terror. At this moment, Gagaga held her up with his wings and said, "Don't panic, swing your feet like me." Wrong imitated, kicking her feet and her body slowly floated forward. She opened her eyes and saw little fish and water plants. The sunlight shone on the down, making it sparkle. "I can swim now." Wrong cheered and splashed water on Tiao Chow and Ding. Jumping jumped into the water to play hide-and-seek, while Ding flew to act as the referee. As the sun set, Wrong went ashore with her elder brother and sister. Her mother combed her wet down under the willow tree and said, "My little Wrong is so brave." Wrong rubbed against her mother, realizing that being brave to try could bring a lot of happiness. From then on, every morning, Wrong's figure could be seen in the pond. She and her friends swam, caught insects, and competed. The laughter by the pond became even more lively. Little Rabbit Wrongs. Carrot surprise on the grassland by the forest lived a little rabbit named Wrong. She has snow-white down with a light touch of powder on the tips of her ears. When she runs, her ears bounce back and forth like two little floating clouds. Her favorite thing to do is to go to the back mountain to look for sweet carrots. That early morning, Wrong was walking back up the mountain with a small bamboo basket. Just as she passed around the dandelion grove, she saw the little hedgehog Kuki squatting on the ground, sighing. Kuki wanted to pick strawberries for his mother, but the small thorns on the strawberry vines always caught his back. Wrong quickly put down the basket, carefully pushed aside the strawberry vine with her soft paws, and helped Kuki pick a full bunch of red strawberries. "Thank you." Wrong Kuki was holding strawberries, her eyes shining brightly. Wrong smiled and continued to look for carrots. Finally, in the sunniest place, she found a lush green carrot field. She pulled out one, took a small bite, and the sweet juice immediately filled her mouth. Just as I was about to pull out a few more, I suddenly remembered that the rabbit grandma next door had bad feet and couldn't go out to look for food. Rong Rong immediately filled the bamboo basket with carrots and sent it to Grandma Rabbit's home first. Grandma Rabbit stroked Rong Rong's head and handed over a sweet maltose. Rong Rong is so good. Here's the candy for you to eat. Rong Rong shook her head, broke the maltose in half, left one half for her grandma and put the other half in the basket. When I got home in the evening, Rong Rong's basket was filled with carrots and half a piece of maltose, followed by Cookie, who came to deliver strawberries. Two little friends were sitting on the grass, enjoying sweet food while watching the sunset. Rong Rong felt that the carrots today were sweeter than ever before. It turned out that thinking of others and sharing happiness were the happiest things. The bamboo shoot gift from the red panda Tuantuan in the bamboo forest lived a red panda named Tuantuan. His chubby body was wrapped in black and white down. His black eyes were like two shiny black grapes. He walked unsteadily and always held a tender bamboo shoot in his arms. He was extremely cute. That early morning, Tuantuan carried a small bamboo basket and went to dig bamboo shoots. Just as I found a patch of tender bamboo shoots, I heard a wailing sound. It was the little squirrel Guagu. His pinnacone had fallen into a crevice of a rock and couldn't be pulled out, no matter how hard I tried. Tuantuan quickly put down the bamboo basket and carefully pushed aside the stones with her round PAWS to help Guagu rescue the pine cones. Guagu, holding a pinnacone, hurriedly said, "Thank you, Tuantuan. I'll give you the most fragrant pine cones." Tuantuan smiled and shook his head, continuing to dig bamboo shoots. It wasn't long before the bamboo basket was full. When passing by the stream, he saw the little hedgehog Cookie squatting by the bank, worried. Cookie wanted to drink the stream water, but it was too deep for him to approach. Tuantuan immediately picked the tenderest bamboo shoot, broke it into two pieces, and used the hollow bamboo sections as small cups to scoop up the stream water and hand it to Kiyuki. "Drink it quickly. The water in this bamboo shoot cup is so sweet." After finishing her water, Kiwi's eyes lit up. "Tuantuan, your bamboo shoots are really useful." Tuantuan felt warm in his heart. He divided half of the bamboo shoots in the bamboo basket and gave them to Guagu and Kuki, saying, "Good things should be shared together to be happy." When the sun was setting in the west, three friends sat in the bamboo forest, eating bamboo shoots and pine cones while watching the sunset glow. Tuantuan touched her round belly and felt that the bamboo shoots today were more fragrant than ever before. It turned out that the joy of sharing with friends was even more precious than the sweet bamboo shoots. The heartwarming story of Little Mouse Mimi's granary. Beside the granary on the farm lived a little mouse named Mimi. It has a body covered with light brown soft fur, as if wrapped in a layer of dried wheat bran. Its round black eyes are like two shiny black beans. Its tiny claws are flexible and powerful, and it can even firmly grasp the thinnest wheat straw. At first, the little animals on the farm thought the little mouse would steal food and were a little afraid of it. It wasn't until they found out that Mimi was actually a hearted little butler who always loved to use her own skills to help everyone solve problems that they discovered it. One early morning, Mimi was sorting out the dry straw she had collected in the corner of the granary when suddenly she heard a weak gee sound. It was the chirping of a newly moved little sparrow. It wanted to find some clean wheat grains for breakfast, but the grains were all in high sacks and couldn't be reached at all. It was so anxious that it hopped around on the sacks. Mimi hurried over and climbed up the gap of the sack with her little paws. After finding a small opening, she carefully pulled out each grain of wheat, one by one. She even deliberately picked the plumpest ones, wrapped them in leaves, and handed them to Juju. "Thank you, Mimi." Shushu pecked at the wheat grains, flapped its wings at Mimi, and gave it a soft feather it had found. In the morning, Mimi was taking a walk in the grass outside the granary when she saw the little ant Guago leading a group of friends carrying breadcrumbs. But the breadcrumbs were too big and got stuck in the crevices of the stones. The ants were sweating profusely, but still made no movement. Mimi's eyes lit up. She gently pried away the soil beside the stone with her little paws, and carefully picked out the breadcrumbs with her tail, breaking them into small pieces to make it easier for the ants to carry. Guago shook her antennae at Mimi and led her friends to massage Mimi with their antennae, which made Mimi laugh non-stop. At noon, it suddenly started to drizzle. Mimi noticed that the leaf pit of the little hedgehog Kuki was leaking. Kuki was huddled inside, and all her spines were wet. Mimi hurriedly ran back to the granary, fetched a few pieces of waterproof oiled paper which the farm owner had accidentally dropped, and found some dry straw to help Kuyuki mend the holes in the nest. She also spread a layer of soft feathers in the nest. Kuki lay in the warm nest, rolled around in front of Mimi, and pushed a sweet wild fruit in front of her. In the evening, the rain stopped and the setting sun dyed the granary golden yellow. Mimi was sitting at the door of the granary, surrounded by Juju, Guago, and Kuki. They were sharing wheat grains, breadcrumbs, and wild fruits. Mimi bit into the sweet wild fruit, looking at her friends' smiling faces and swaying her tail gently. Suddenly, she felt that being able to help everyone solve problems was much happier than hiding alone in the granary and eating wheat grains. It turns out that even a tiny mouse can, with its own wit and kindness, become a little sun on the farm, bringing warmth and joy to every friend. Such farm life is sweeter than plump wheat grains and more comfortable than soft feathers. A heartwarming story of a giraffe soaring high on the grassland, on the vast green grassland. There lived a giraffe named Gao Gao. He has a yellowish-brown skin with stripes, as if wearing a flower coat that can make him invisible. The most catching feature is his long neck. When you look up, you can touch the branches of a big tree. Even the birds in the sky like to perch on his neck to chat, because he is not only tall but also particularly gentle and is well known as a big friend on the grassland. One early morning, Galgo was munching on the tender leaves on the tree for breakfast when she suddenly heard a worried ba-ba sound. It was the little lamb Duadert. She wanted to pick the sweetest acacia flower at the top of the tree as a gift for her mother, but the tree was too tall. She jumped many times, but still couldn't reach it. She was so anxious that she kept wagging her tail. Gao Gao hurried over, lowered his head gently, and said, "Duadwo, don't worry, I'll help you." He stretched his neck, rolled up his nimble tongue, and picked the brightest bunch of acacia flowers, carefully presenting them to Duadwo. Duadwo held the fragrant flowers in her hands and bowed to Gao Gao. "Thank you, Gao Gao. You are truly my great hero." In the morning, Gao Gao was taking a walk on the grassland when he saw the little zebra Zhuangguang squatting by the river, worried. On the other side of the river, the grass was the most tender, but the river was a bit wide. Zhuangguang didn't dare to jump over it and could only sigh at the grass. Gao Gao's eyes lit up. He slowly walked to the riverbank and stretched his long neck to the opposite bank, as if building a small brown bridge. "Duongguang, step on my neck and cross." "I'll steady myself." Guangawang carefully stepped on Gao Gao's warm neck to cross the river. He even took a bite of the tenderest green grass and ran back to give it to Gao Gao. "This is for you. Thank you, little bridge." At noon, the sun was a bit scorching. The little animals on the grassland all hid in the shade of trees to cool off. Gao Gao saw that the newly hatched little ostrich Yoayu could unfind a shady spot and was hiding behind a stone, flapping its wings. So he hurried over, using his broad body to block the sunlight and letting Yoi rest by his leg. Yoi Wo comfortably closed her eyes and gently pecked at Gao Gao, as if saying, "It's so cool with you around." In the evening, the setting sun dyed the grassland an orange red, standing high in the center of the grassland, surrounded by Duadwa, Zhuangzhuang, and Yoayu. Everyone shared the nectar of the acacia flowers and the sweet green grass. Chewing the green grass high up, looking at the smiling faces of my friends, I suddenly felt that my long neck was not only for eating leaves, but also could help everyone fulfill their wishes and solve problems. It was much happier than chewing leaves alone. It turns out that a tall giraffe can also become a little sun on the grassland with its own great skills, bringing warmth and joy to every friend. When the moon rises, Gao Gao is still watching the stars with his friends. Occasionally, when his long neck touches a branch, a few dewy leaves will fall, as if sending everyone a small gift for the night. Because of Gao Gao, the days on the grassland have become warmer than the setting sun and sweeter than nectar. 以上翻译结果来自有道神经网络翻译 YNMT 通用场景。The heartwarming story of Little Mouse Dodo's granary. Beside the granary on the farm lived a tiny grey mouse, which everyone called Dodo. He was covered with soft grey fluff, as if wrapped in a layer of fine cotton wool. His round black eyes were always moving around. His tiny claws were particularly flexible, capable of crawling into all kinds of narrow crevices, and even picking up grains of wheat larger than half of his body. At first, all the friends on the farm were a little afraid of him. It was not until later that they found out that Dodo's small size concealed a big heart. That early morning, Dodo had just found a plump grain of wheat in the corner of the granary when she heard a rustling sound of worry. It was the newly moved little ant Guagu. It was leading its friends to look for food to store for the winter, but the grains of wheat were all hidden in the cracks of the wooden boards in the granary, and the ants couldn't reach them, so they could only circle around the boards. Dudu hurried over, gently pried open the cracks in the wooden board with her little paws, and picked out the wheat grains one by one, placing them in front of Guagu. "Don't worry. I'll help you get the wheat grains out." Guagu and her friends surrounded the wheat grains and waved their antennae at Dodo. "Thank you, Dodo. Your little claws are even more flexible than our antennae. How amazing." In the morning, as the sun gradually rose, the little chicks on the farm Gugu were looking for insects in the yard. Accidentally, they lost the small bell given by their mother. The bell was tied around its neck with a red string. After falling into the grass, the red string mixed with the grass leaves. Gugu searched for a long time but could not find it, and was so anxious that it made a Gigi sound. After hearing this, Dodo hurriedly ran to the edge of the grass and sniffed around with his sensitive nose. He could smell the faint metallic odor on the bell. It wasn't long before he found the bell under a clover leaf, pushed it with his little paws, and slowly brought it to Gugu. Gugu picked up the bell and pecked at the grains of rice on the ground at Dodo. "Dodo, this is for you to eat. Thank you for helping me find the bell." At noon, Mimi, a little cat on the farm, was basking in the sun beside the granary. Suddenly, she was scared by a flying insect and accidentally knocked over the bamboo basket at the entrance of the granary, scattering corn seeds all over the ground. If Mimi were seen by the grandpa farmer, she would surely be scolded. Dudu hurried over, made two zizzy sounds at Mimi, and then used her little paws to scoop the corn kernels one by one into the bamboo basket. Mimi also quickly came to help, using her paws to push the corn seeds to Dodu's side. The two of them worked together for quite a while and finally managed to put all the corn seeds back into the bamboo basket. Mimi rubbed her face against Dodo and said, "Thank you, Dodo. From now on, I won't avoid you anymore." In the afternoon, dark clouds suddenly drifted from the sky, and it seemed that it was about to rain. Dudu recalled that the peanuts dried by the farmer grandpa in the yard had not yet been brought back into the house. If they got wet by the rain, they would sprout. He hurried to his grandfather's house door, squeaking into the crack of the door and running towards the pile of peanuts in the yard from time to time. After hearing this, Grandpa quickly followed Dodo to the yard. Just as he put the peanuts into the bag, raindrops began to fall with a drip-drip sound. Grandpa stroked Dodo's head and said, "Thanks to Dodo. Otherwise, all these peanuts would have been in vain." I also specially left a small handful of fried peanuts for Dodo. In the evening, the setting sun dyed the farm orange red. Dudu was sitting on a small earthen slope beside the granary, surrounded by Guagu, Gugu, and Mimi. They were sharing roasted peanuts, rice grains, and the little bugs they found. Dudu held a fried peanut in her arms, looking at the smiling faces of her friends. The grey down was shining warmly in the setting sun, and her heart was filled with sweetness. Suddenly, he felt that his small size was no problem at all, being able to help Guogo find the wheat grains. Help Gugu find the bells, help Mimi clean up the corn kernels, and remind Grandpa to harvest peanuts was much happier than hiding alone in the granary and munching on the wheat grains. It turns out that even a tiny mouse can, with its own wit and enthusiasm, become a little helper on the farm, bringing safety and happiness to every friend. When the moon rose, Dodo was still walking slowly beside the granary. Her tiny figure under the moonlight looked like a moving little fluffed ball. The farm is quiet, with only the rustling sound of the wind blowing through the wheat stalks. Because of Dudu, this small corner has become increasingly lively and warm. Such days are sweeter than stir-fried peanuts and more wonderful than soft down. A heartwarming record of the chirping birds in the woods. In the small woods behind the village lived a tiny sparrow, and everyone called her Chirp Chirp. She has a coat of brownish feathers with a hint of light grey on the tips of her wings. When she flies, she looks like a flexible little leaf, and her chirping is particularly clear and can be heard far in the woods. Every morning, Shoo Shoo would jump around among the branches, looking for sweet berries for breakfast and greeting his friends in the woods at the same time. That early morning, Shoo Shoo had just pecked at a bright red berry when she heard a soft woo cry. It was a little mushroom named Duad Vu that had just emerged from the soil. It was too short to see the distant sunlight and was afraid of being stepped on by a passing rabbit, so it hid in the grass and dared not show its head. Juju quickly flew to Duadwo's side and gently touched its umbrella cover with its wings. "Don't be afraid, I'll take you to find the sunshine." She flew ahead, shouting as she flew, guiding Duadwa towards the open space at the edge of the woods, where the sun was the brightest and no little rabbit had passed by yet. Duadwa moved slowly, following Juju's chirping, and finally caught the warm sun. She shook her umbrella cover at Juju and said, "Thank you, Juju. Your cries are more effective than a small flag. I'm no longer afraid of getting lost." In the morning, as the sun rose slowly, Shoo Shoo was resting on the locust tree when she saw the little squirrel Lely holding a pine cone. While jumping among the branches, she accidentally sprained her ankle and the pine cone fell into the bushes under the tree. Lely was in so much pain that she couldn't go down to pick it up. Shoo Shoo quickly flew down, picked up the pinnacone with his pointed little mouth, and slowly flew to Lely's side. "Lely, don't worry, your pinnacone is here." Lely took the pinnacone and wagged her big tail at Shoo Shoo, saying, "Thank you, Shoo Shoo. Your little mouth is more agile than my claws. Thank you so much." At noon, a group of naughty children came to the woods, wanting to catch a few little bugs to play with. It would be a disaster if they stepped on the newly sprouted saplings. Shoo Shoo quickly flew up into the woods, chirping loudly and flying towards the direction of the young saplings, as if to remind everyone. Hearing chirping, the children followed its figure and saw the tender green saplings. They quickly moved around and waved at chirping, saying, "The little bird is so smart. We won't step on the saplings anymore." In the afternoon, dark clouds suddenly drifted from the sky, and it seemed that it was about to rain. Shoo Shoo thought of the little ants Guo Guo and his family living under the tree roots. They were still outside carrying breadcrumbs. If they got wet from the rain, it would be a big problem. Shoo Shoo quickly flew to Guo Guo's side, shouted in the direction of the ant nest, and picked up a small piece of breadcrumbs and flew towards the ant nest. Guo Guo understood Shoo Shoo's meaning and quickly led his friends to carry the breadcrumbs back to the ant nest. As soon as they entered the hole, raindrops began to fall with a drip-drip sound. Guo Guo poked his head out of the hole and shook his antennae at Juju. "Thank you, Juju. Your reminder came more timely than raindrops." In the evening, the setting sun dyed the woods orange red. Shoo Shoo was sitting on the highest branch, surrounded by Duo, La La, and Guagut. They were sharing sweet berries and pine cones. Shoo Shoo pecked at the berries, looking at the smiling faces of her friends. Her wings flapped gently, and her heart felt warm. Suddenly, she felt that her little wings were not only for flying, but also could help Duo find sunlight, help Lele pick pine cones, remind children, and give Guo Guo messages. It was much happier than looking for food alone in the woods. It turns out that even a tiny bird can, with its own flexibility and enthusiasm, become a little guard in the forest, bringing safety and happiness to every friend. When the moon rose, Choo Choo was still chirping gently on the branches, her clear voice wafting through the quiet woods, as if singing a lullaby to her companions. The forest was quiet, with only the rustling of leaves in the wind. Because of the chirping, this forest became more and more lively and warmer. Such days were sweeter than sweet berries and more beautiful than nimble little wings.